Now we have a new victim to defeat. Lion Kamala Harris, Lion, L-Y-I-N apostrophe. She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country. If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
She is irrelevant. She is part of a broader machine. Offer how you're going to fix the border, grow the economy. That's how you get the job done.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail in a big way. And he is making his strategy pretty loud and clear. You see, now that it's Kamala who he is running up against, for the foreseeable future anyways, he's had to think about his tactics a little bit. And a lot of us were thinking, is he going to be more gentle? Is he going to play nicer now that he's going against a woman? Is he going to try and make sure that he doesn't lose a lot of the female vote or the feeling vote? Is he going to be more presidential in his demeanor now that the momentum is with him? Even though the media is saying that the momentum is with Kamala, which that's pure propaganda.
On Sunday night, after President Biden dropped out of the race, the activist group Win with Black Women literally almost broke Zoom, organizing a call with 44,000 people to make sure Kamala Harris wins the White House this November. In 24 hours, that one Zoom call raised more than $1.5 million for the Harris campaign. And at 44,000 people, the call was only about 1,000 people short of the world record for the biggest Zoom call ever. Now, the world record held for another 4 days, but it was broken last night. Last night, an event called White Women Answer the Call held their own Zoom to organize for Kamala Harris, inspired by Sunday's Win with Black Women call. That Zoom took the previous world record for biggest Zoom call and blew it out of the water.
Or will the assassination attempt affect him to the point where he is more humble? Well, that's going to be answered very shortly and quite emphatically. And we're also going to hear from Vivek Ramaswamy along the way as well. So with that, let's get into it.
As you know, 3 days ago, we officially defeated the worst president in the history of our country, crooked Joe Biden. He quit because he was losing so badly in the polls. He was down in every single poll and down by a lot, so he quit. But really, what happened was the leaders of the Democrat Party, in a very undemocratic move, the bosses, they said, either you get out or we're going to throw you out using the 25th Amendment. That's what happened. You know that. So, well, you know that. That's what happens. That's what happens. These are nasty people, the Democrats, so we better beat them or we're not going to have a country left. You're not going to have a country left. So now we have a new victim to defeat. Lion Kamala Harris, Lion, L-Y-I-N apostrophe. The most incompetent and far-left vice president in American history. By the way, they did a poll. She was rated the worst vice president in history. I've never seen that poll before, but that's the poll. Together, we will win North Carolina in an epic landslide. We're way ahead in the poll. And we will take back that beautiful White House, and we will very simply make America great again. For 3.5 years, Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe. She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country. If she ever gets the chance to get into office, we're not going to let that happen.
Before we continue this, guys, if you have not liked the video and if you are liking what you are seeing, if you watch the content, want to help me out a little bit, then hit that thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get back to it.
You know, I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice. And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay? You want me to be nice? Thank you. Kamala Harris is the most liberal elected politician in American history. Did you know that? She's an ultra-liberal politician. She's absolutely terrible. She's, as you know, more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Can you believe it? She's rated far more liberal than Bernie Sanders. And she's now trying to get rid of her record, but she can't. She's going out and saying things that she doesn't believe. And if she ever got in, she'd destroy this country so fast. So she was the border czar, but she never went to the border, right? She was appointed by this horrible president, this horrible guy. How this guy got to be president in his basement. He stayed in his basement. And we did a lot better the second time than we did the first. How this guy got to be president, what they've done to this country in 3.5 years, and we're going to turn it around. But what they've done to our country is unthinkable.
So I think that clears up a lot of things for a lot of people. And me personally, I enjoy that approach. You guys that watch the channel regularly will know that I think that is a great strength of Trump's. It certainly served him well in the 2016 Republican primaries, and it can just be very effective. But I do also like what Vivek Ramaswamy had to say about the approach moving forward. And I think that this is why he would have been a great VP. Let's check it out.
Kamala Harris is not our risk. Keep in mind, forgetting about Republican voters, Democratic voters wanted her to come nowhere near the White House. She got 0 delegates. She didn't even make it to the Iowa caucus. I ran for as a 37-year-old first-timer to politics. I've gotten more delegates for U.S. president than Kamala Harris had. Nonetheless, she is actually creating a risk for us in a different way. And that is that we get distracted by the shenanigans of the Democrats and forget to deliver our own message of who we are and what we actually stand for. That's what I think is the big risk of Kamala, not that she's compelling, but that this entire drama and poorly acted version of it at times is itself a distraction for us. And that is something I have a concern about.
Well, I think that, again, the razzle-dazzle is to get everyone to look at this, distraction, the shiny object analogy. And meanwhile, we have a caravan, another one, thousands of people in it, making its way to the southern border. And she's trying to run away from being border czar. So that's the truth, and that's what the Republicans have to keep focusing on. That's what JD, that's what President Trump, all that all the time. I would even almost ignore Kamala Harris and focus on what they've done to the country and how they're going to save the country. To me, that's the powerful narrative here.
You nailed it, because we are not really running against a candidate anyway. We are running against a machine. We want to get in there and dismantle that machine and do it for the betterment of the American people. Talk about our vision for the future. I don't think it's going to be particularly successful, Laura, to go after these micro-political attacks of Kamala, that she was protecting Joe Biden before she had staged a coup on him, or the fact that she was too tough as a prosecutor. That lends implicit credibility to her otherwise ridiculous claim that she's a law and order candidate. These things aren't helping us. We have to offer our own vision for the future of why America First is the way, not just for Republicans, but for the country. Donald Trump's done an outstanding job of that in the last several months. I want to see that continue rather than fall into a trap that I think has been laid for us, which is the media's artificial AstroTurf enthusiasm around Kamala. It's not going to work because they tried to do it even when she ran as a Democrat in their primary in 2020. The only way it works is if it ultimately throws Republicans off their tilt to focus on micro attacks against Kamala instead of offering our own vision for the future of the United States.
And how would you,
on Republicans to do?
How would you advise President Trump, if you were advising him, on how to debate her? He's going to have to debate her. I don't think he's going to not debate her. So how do you think he should do that? We only got like 20 seconds. Sorry about that.
Well, the reality is she's made identity politics a core part of her political identity. That makes it very difficult to attack her personally. She is irrelevant. Right. She is part of a broader machine. Offer how you're going to fix the border, grow the economy. That's how you get the job done. Exactly.
Vivek, you're the best.
So that's why I think that having a dynamo like Vivek as the VP actually would have been a pretty good move for Trump. Vivek has the ability to come in and robustly deliver the receipts, which is a perfect complement for Trump and his frontman antics. But let's hope that JD Vance is just as complimentary. Because, I mean, Trump is not the guy who's going to come out and academically break down how all the different policies work and how exactly we're going to make things happen. He's going to say, I'm going to make a phone call and we're going to make a deal. We're going to use common sense. And that's why he needs a guy like Vivek, or even DeSantis, if they didn't have that beef, would have been perfect. But I am very glad to see a glimmer of the 2016 Trump emerging because it's so entertaining and it lifts people from this state of demoralization where everybody just sort of deep down knows that your politicians don't care about you and they're definitely not doing what is best for the interests of you and your country. Trump just has the ability to make people feel genuinely enthusiastic about what the future may hold. And for many Americans, especially the ones in middle rural America whose towns and families and personal lives have been destroyed by the decimation of the manufacturing industry.
Like much of the rural Midwest, small towns in northeastern Iowa have lost population as younger people move away. Manufacturing plants have shuttered and family farms are forced out of business. And while unemployment is low, the incomes are stagnant and many feel left behind.
And then the crack epidemics and the fentanyl epidemics, hope is something that is a little bit hard to come by.
Things like that were in big places, you know, California and New York, not in little small towns and everything. How did it get this bad?
This is why Trump is so popular with his base and why a lot of people actually see him as the only hope for salvaging the American dream. And when you put yourselves in their shoes, you can kind of understand why, especially looking at the state of the country. And on this topic, guys, we've got some great Trump merch at the reality-based store at the moment. It's perfect for any events that you have coming up this year to do with the election. We've got posters, mugs, shirts, hoodies, and even clothes for females, so nobody has to be naked this year. So check it out, guys, realitybasedstore.com. You can check out the catalog just below this video, and also link will be in the comments and the bio. So anyways, I think that it is definitely a risk to go for Kamala Harris like this, but it's also going to be very important to continuously point out her failures and her flaws, whilst also having a vision for the future, because the media is going to make her look like some angel savior queen.
The vice president has effectively cleared the field of any potential challengers. She has begun vetting possible running mates, and she has launched an incredibly successful digital and rapid response campaign that has basically made her queen of the internet.
And we have to be reminding people all the time that she is an abject failure at politics. But definitely let me know in the comments what you think about the approach. I mean, I'd be interested to read your thoughts. And now let's continue with the diatribe against Kamala, which should at the very least dispel any notion that he's in any sort of cognitive decline, because he is very sharp here when it comes to Kamala's record.
As borders are, Kamala threw open our borders and allowed 20 million illegal aliens to stampede into our country from all over the world. As vice president, she cast the tie-breaking votes that created the worst inflation in a half a century, decimating middle-class families and hurting very badly, as you know, all people in North Carolina. And by the way, Laura says hello. Laura, do we love Laura? How good is Laura? She is terrific. She has done a tremendous job. You know, I'm saying it now because if I forget it later on, they'll say he's cognitively challenged. I don't want to be cognitively, no, but I want to thank her because she's unbelievable. She loves it. I'll introduce Michael in a couple of minutes, but I want to remember to introduce Laura. She's been a fantastic daughter-in-law and wife to Eric. And she happened to name her one beautiful daughter, you know what? Carolina. Carolina. I said, which one? Which Carolina? She said, well, North, of course. No. Let's call them both. Do you mind if I call them both? They've both been great, frankly. And when Kamala Harris was sent to Europe to deter Russia, what a joke that was, from attacking Ukraine, how did that work out? Russia answered by launching the invasion just 5 days after she left. Putin laughed at her like she was nothing. She is nothing. She's so bad for us. Everything Kamala touches turns into a total disaster. She's destroyed San Francisco with her policies. Check out San Francisco. 20 years ago, it was the greatest city in our country. Today, it's not a livable city. She'll destroy our country if she's elected, so we won't let her be elected. We can't let that happen. Unbelievably, despite all of the damage she's caused, radical liberal Kamala Harris now wants a promotion to deliver 4 more years of chaos. We've had the worst 4 years. You know, I say about Biden, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country, added them up, they won't have done the damage that crooked Joe Biden has done. But this November, the American people are going to tell her, no thanks, Kamala. You've done a terrible job. You've been terrible at everything you've done. You're ultra-liberal, and we don't want you here. We don't want you anywhere. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. And yet the fake news, which a month ago said she was incompetent, said she was a stiff, just a dopey stiff, the worst. Nobody talked to her. She was firing her staff left and right. The staff hates her. Oh, wait till you see the stories that are going to come out about her staff. Oh. If that were me, they'd be all over the place. But the fake news tries to cover her up. But wait till you see, she was the worst with the staff of anybody. But the fake news is talking about lying Kamala as if she's the savior of our country. That she's so brave. I've never seen a turnaround like this. 4 weeks ago, she was the worst politician in America. Now they say, isn't it amazing? Look at her. She's so beautiful. She's so magnificent. She has a crowd of 1,000 people the other day. And the fake news, and they worked hard to get that crowd. We have crowds of 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people. And the fake news said, oh, her crowd was amazing. It was amazing. You see it? The other day, she had maybe 1,000 people. I doubt it. They worked their asses off to get those people to go, and I wonder what they gave out. They said, oh, this is such a big crowd. She's got such momentum. I don't think she's going to have a lot of momentum after this speech, because I'm telling you about her, right? We're telling you the facts. I'm just giving you the facts. But they said it was such a big crowd, such a beautiful crowd. They never mention our crowds. Like this crowd. Look at this crowd. You could multiply her crowds times 20 and 30, and she wouldn't get what we get.
So Trump is absolutely right here. Just a few weeks ago, Kamala was the most unpopular politician in the whole of the United States. And now, all of a sudden, would you look at that? She's surging in the polls because of a few TikToks.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
And it's funny how you just see the messaging evolve, because they've just gone from Joe Biden, a geriatric who was literally putting the entire world to sleep every time he talked.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
To Kamala, and now the messaging is young, 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 young. Look how young our candidate is. And you know, propaganda and manufactured consent is such a powerful tool that is implemented by the fake news media and whoever else is controlling the narrative.
The celebrity names involved in all of this are probably annoying Donald Trump himself. Mindy Kaling, John Legend, George Takei, Megan Rapinoe, Connie Britton, Pink. Bona fide celebrities showed up on Zoom calls to support Kamala Harris. Not to mention, Vice President Harris is also making a cameo on the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race tonight.
If you look at any rally numbers or the numbers of views that she gets online, or really any metric, she is grossly unpopular. In her run for president in 2020, she didn't even make it to the Iowa caucus where people could vote for her. She's that unpopular.
Great to have you with us on this special holiday. Do you have an announcement you'd like to make?
I am running for president of the United States.
Well,
And
She's overseen the worst border crisis in US history. She's been lying straight to the American public's faces, saying that Joe Biden is some sort of a powerhouse. She is to the radical left of politics.
Let me just address the issue directly because I spend a lot of time with our president. We have a president in Joe Biden who is forward-thinking, but thank God our president is in good shape, in good health, and is ready to lead in our second term.
Anyway.
And now they get a few celebrities and Obama to endorse her, and now all of a sudden, overnight, we're expected to believe that everybody just loves her when she hasn't even said or done anything of significance. I mean, if you ever want to see an example of the propaganda machine in full swing, which is obviously completely controlled by the libs as most institutions are, this is the example.
Less than a week into this campaign, it feels like we are living in an entirely different political landscape. Yesterday, the New York Times and Siena College came out with polling showing Kamala Harris in a statistical tie with Donald Trump, trailing him by 1 point within the margin of error among likely voters nationwide. To put that in perspective, Trump led Biden by 6 points in that same poll earlier this month.
But please don't buy it and don't fall for it. I know there are a lot of sheep out there, but just know that they will do anything to not let Trump in office. And if that means fixing a few polls along the way and making it look like it's a really close race, and then November comes along and they do a little bit of import-export, they'll do it. I mean, everything is just so fake. I tried to watch a little bit of Kamala's recent rally where she got less than 1,000 people after watching Trump's rally, and I genuinely felt like I was having a heroin withdrawal. So I won't put you guys through it, but it's just contrived and BS, almost as fake and staged as this phone call.
Kamala!
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, okay, Obama. It's all news to you, like you weren't deeply and intricately involved in engineering this entire process. Anyways, guys, big few months ahead. Get ready. And if you need to be armed and dangerous, you can be armed and dangerous with your Trump shirts, as well as much more based merch, the most based merch in the entire world. So check that out at the Reality Based store. And also my links are going to be there, Instagram, Twitter, and what have you. If you guys would like to subscribe to the channel right here, if you guys would like to watch another one right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.